If you're running meta ads for your agency, online service business, or like B2B company, and you're using the same account structure as you would see someone use for like e-commerce or like a local service business, you are leaving serious money on the table and you're hurting yourself and your clients. It's not good. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact account structure we use to generate qualified calls every single month for my agency, my clients' agencies, and other B2B companies step by step. We'll walk you through the whole thing. So most agencies and B2B companies might copy what they see working for e-commerce businesses or other D2C business types. Low cost retargeting, broad audiences, conversion campaigns optimized for purchases or just leads. That's completely wrong for B2B. The buying cycle is different with B2B businesses. The decision makers are different and the intent signals are completely different. So let me show you what actually works. But before I do that, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Richie Berner, the founder of Built a Book, and over the past 5 years, we've spent over 7 figures on ads while helping 50+ businesses make more money running ads profitably. And meta ads is always the top of the funnel engine that drives the whole system. After testing hundreds of account structures, we've landed on a framework that consistently generates high quality pre-sold leads for agencies and B2B service businesses. Lucky day for you, I'm gonna pull back the curtain on the exact account structure we use, the campaign types, the audience layers, the budget allocation, and the creative strategy that makes it all work together. So here's what we'll be covering. The 3 campaign structure every agency and B2B meta ads account should be using. Audience strategy, how to target decision makers without wasting budget on tire kickers. Creative framework, the ad formats that work for B2B and the ones that don't. Budget allocation, how to split your spend across cold, warm, and hot audiences. And the one campaign setting most B2B companies are getting wrong that kills their results. So before we get into the actual account structure, I need to explain why B2B meta ads are fundamentally different from e-commerce or D2C ads or local service business ads. E-commerce ads work like this. Someone sees an ad, they click, they buy within 5 minutes, especially if they're impulse driven. There's a low AOV, high volume, and you optimize for purchases within the campaign. B2B, on the other hand, is going to be different. Someone sees an ad, they might watch your VSL, they think about it for 3 days, talk to their business partners, book a call, go through a 2-week sales process, and then they'll sign a 5K or 50K contract. It's relationship driven, high AOV, low volume, and you optimize for the qualified conversions, the people that are booking calls. Because of this, your entire account structure needs to be built around one goal, getting the right person to book a call with you. Not just any call, a call with someone who is pre-sold on your approach and has the budget and is ready to move. And that changes absolutely everything about how you set up your campaigns. So let's dive in. So depending on who's actually watching this video and who your client is, this is the exact 3 campaign structure we would use for every one of our clients, including ourselves. And if you haven't ran ads before or your client hasn't ran ads before, the first and second campaigns are going to be the most relevant ones for you to start. Then the third one you can toss in. So this is going to be the top of your funnel, right? So we have the funnel obviously has 3 parts. It looks like a pizza. We have tofu, Mofu, which is middle of funnel, and then we have Bofu, which is bottom of funnel, right? Ads are always going to be at the top of your funnel, this part down here. The goal is to get your message in front of qualified decision makers who have never heard from you ever. They're just seeing your ad for the first time. So the objective here is lead generation and traffic to your VSL page if you're running a book a call funnel. We have our objective, leads, traffic. And this is also going to get 60% of our ad budget. So we're looking at 60% budget of our total budget, right? And then our audiences is going to be a broad audience and an interest-based audience. So we're going to give the creatives to Meta and let it see what it's going to do with it. And then we're also going to have an ad set that's going to be interest-based based on the things that their job titles, the things that they're interested in, the people that they follow, all types of stuff like that. So we have our budget at 60% and then our audience is going to be broad plus interest. And here's the key difference here. You're not trying to convert traffic directly. It's great if you do, and definitely possible, but you're trying to get them to consume your content. You want them to see your ad, be convinced, watch your VSL on your landing page, hit your landing page, engage with your page, then convert, fill out the application, and book a call there. So our audience targeting for B2B ads, like we said before, is going to be that broad targeting and then our interest targeting. And if for our interests, we can do something like their job title. So they'd be like CEO, owner, founder, things like that. If you're targeting more specific types of people within a business, then you can do that. Like, like directors, directors or VPs of certain specific positions within the business. And then we can even do things like income. If you wanted to add in income signals like the top 25% or the top 1% of the audience, you can narrow it down. People like that, their spending habits, things like that. These are really good for household income. If they have a top, percentage, then they're most likely going to be like owners of a business, things like that. So what we don't want to do when we're targeting audiences is use like really broad things that like most people would be interested in, like entrepreneurship. Like these things are too broad and they attract everyone from college students to hobbyists. You want decision makers with a budget, right? You want people that are going to spend. So you'd be better off targeting the things that they follow, the things that they would be interested in, certain people or topics. That would be better. So when you're creating your audience, you want to focus on those things and don't look too much into the audience things. That's really not that important. Make sure that we have just a good interest stack in there. It's not going to make or break your campaign. So you also might be thinking, well, how many creatives do I make? Like what types of creatives? Are they in certain ad sets? Are there different ads for each ad set? What the hell is going on? How many ads do I make? Well, we'll cover that right now. So here's like the normal structure that we do for creatives for cold audiences, like in the B2B space. We're always starting with video ads, 60 to 90 seconds. They tend to work better nowadays with the Andromeda update. 60 to 90-second video ads that are problem aware with a hook, an introduction to your framework, and a body. And I'm going to go into everything what's in a direct offer B2B style ad. So you're going to be using the video ads that are 60 to 90 seconds. And then how many of them? Well, what we like to do is 15 total scripts with 2 hooks for each script. So these are going to be different ideas, different styles of scripts. We want them to all be like individual. These need to be different types of videos because Meta is, favoriting creative diversity. So we want them to all be kind of different. So this should give you a total of 30 videos. And with those videos, you're going to need copy for like the actual ads, right? So you're going to need at least 2 to 3 body copies. And we're going to put these all in Meta so that we let Meta just use whatever ones they want. 2 to 3 headlines. And then we're going to need 1 to 2 descriptions and copy guidelines. We're also, for the body copies, we're going to want 1 long body, 1 long, 1 medium, and 1 short. At the end of the day, your ad structure, your ad account structure for your first campaign to a cold audience will look something like this. You're going to have your campaign, obviously. And then you're going to have your 2 ad sets. You're going to have your broad, which we're not going to give any sort of direction for Meta. It's just going to be a straight up broad campaign for the most part. And then we're going to do an interest stack. And then what you're going to do is those 30 total ads, because remember you have 15 individual ads, but with 2 hooks, and there's different types of hooks for each one of those videos. You're going to have 30 total ads. And in that, you're going to have 30 ads over here. And then another 30 over here. And that's how I would structure my first campaign to a cold audience in Meta. Okay, so now that we're done with that, this is going to be the middle funnel of your campaign. And this is for targeting people who've already interacted with your content, who've watched your video, they visited your landing page, or they engage with your page pretty frequently. So our objective here is going to be obviously lead generation and conversions. Budget Depending on if this is actually going to be working for you, and you're going to have a warm audience, because most of the time you won't have this until a certain amount of spend in an ad account. But the budget here is going to be approximately 20 to 30% of your overall budget, depending on how much you're spending and also leads that you have in your account. So really, the whole goal here is to warm up the leads that have currently seen your stuff and have interacted with it. So here we're using custom audiences. So the custom audience is going to include video viewers who watch 25% or more, which is what the plus means, of your content. We're going to have landing page clicks, and page engagers. Okay. So this is where a lot of your conversions are going to come from, because these people already know who you are. They've seen your content, and now you need to take action and push them towards your funnel. And a great way to do that is by retargeting them with some really high quality, value driven organic content that you've posted, and also more ads naturally. So ad creatives for a warm audience, they could look anything like any sort of like VSL style videos, so like 2 to 5 minutes. This is really going to be value-based driven content here. So we don't want people that are like, we don't want to fill them with just like pointless like YouTube like shorts or anything like that. These are going to be 2 to 5 minute longer videos. Also case study ads. So starting an ad off with like, this is how we help so-and-so achieve this result, show a specific result. We also have testimonial ads. So this would be like you doing a testimonial interview with a client, and then they are speaking about their experience. Maybe you start with them saying where they were before, and then you go into the interview so they find out how they got to that result. Or you start the result with them saying like, they booked us 30 calls and we added an extra 100K of revenue to our business. That's a great way to start retargeting people with these high value driven ads, because you're showing them, hey, like I'm good at what I do. And you're just paying to get these case study ads, these testimonial ads in front of them. These would also work, just generally speaking, in like to a cold audience as well. And then also we could still run the good old direct offer ads as well. And same thing as before, we're trying to keep our ads and our creatives diversified. So same bullet points as for creatives before at the top here. We're talking about 30 ads for each ad set. And they could be a mix of all of these. So they could be your direct offer, testimonial ads, case study ads. This is for a broad audience or a warm audience. So they don't necessarily need to be divvied up by ad set or campaign. The campaign, yes, because it'll be retargeting for the most part, but you don't need to like kind of organize these by the types of ad. We want them to just be in the same ad set, retargeting the same people, so that they're seeing all these different ads. That's the whole point there. So the key here is that your warm audience ads should feel like a continuation of the conversation. So we need to reference what they've already seen. We can still show them the direct offer style ads, but we want to bring them down the funnel a little bit more, build more trust, show them testimonials, case studies, even those long form videos that is a breakdown and a walkthrough of your entire system, how you got someone a specific result. So this is where we would give them also that next step of booking that call as well. And you would say something like, here's the next step. Okay, so now we're getting to the bottom of funnel campaign. And this isn't gonna be for everybody. This is for people who have tons of leads, who have been running ads for a long time, a lot of money spent, their pixels well seasoned. We're targeting people who have shown strong intent, who visited booking pages, they filled out forms, they've maybe filled forms halfway. They are existing leads in your CRM. These are people that are already in your ecosystem for the most part. And we're using this like as like a nurture sequence almost. Like we're just bombarding them with organic content. So our objective here obviously is going to be conversions. So our objective here obviously going to be conversions for hot leads. because we already have leads. They are leads already. So our point here is to convert. So we want to convert people. Clients. Budget will be 10% of total spend. And again, audience here is going to be web visitors, people who visited the booking page, really anybody who's been tagged by that pixel far down in the funnel. So this would be like CRM events. We have that API set up, the Meta API, the CAPI events shooting, firing back from our CRM. These are people that can be getting this content. People you've even had a call with who did book a call, on our email list. But this is going to be really, again, this is mostly a nurture campaign for the most part, because these are your highest intent prospects. They've been to your booking page, but didn't complete it. They're on your email list, but haven't booked. They need just one more nudge to get them across the finish line and for them to realize that you are the solution. You're staying in front of them constantly with, because we're paying to put that content in front of them, right? So what does that mean for creatives? Obviously, we're going to have to be leveraging these forms of high value based, not salesy content. So we don't want them to feel like we're throwing ads at them still, even though they are going to see them. But we also want to work in some content that is urgency based. So let's build some urgency here. We only take on 3 new clients per month. Spots are filling up. These are great ways to get people across the finish line to make them feel like time is running out. We also want objection handling. So we want to be able to handle objections for them. This is a great way to have them showing up to the sales call ready to go, address the most common reasons why people don't book. Like, be upfront, tell them everything, handle the bad things that people are saying about what you do. Be value dense as well. Make sure they're getting a ton of value out of it. And then again, testimonials, and then some sort of like direct CTA with book your free audit before the week fills up. And then we can keep the ratio here 80% shorts because we want it to be easy to digest, but 20% long form. So 80% short and then 20% long. And for the budget here, we don't want to overinvest here at all. Hot audiences are usually small. So anything, like I said, 10% of what you're investing. So if you're doing 5,000, it's going to be, I believe, 500, double check my math. But yeah, it'll be like anywhere between $500 to $1,000 spend on these audiences. So budget here, not going to be massive. It's going to be $500 to $1,000. Now let's talk about creativity and your ad creation. Even the best ad account structure will fail with terrible bad ads. So there are multiple different styles of ad scripts, like the ones that I said before: testimonial, case study, direct. There's also decoy and idea led. There's a ton of other ones that we can use out there. But if you're just starting out, direct seems to be the best path forward for people who are just starting out and cold audiences. They're the easiest ones to script and are the most effective. So if you're going to be scripting direct offer ads, every ad script should follow this structure here. Every great ad is going to start with a hook. You need to call out the ICP using a pain point or some form of outcome based. I could probably make another video on this entirely, but a good example of this would be if you're a B2B agency looking to run ads profitably and you're tired of paying a high cost per call, listen up. That's a great hook, or something along the line. Adding myself. But a bad one would be, want more leads for your business? It's too generic. A good hook is going to speak from preeminence going to explain their pain point better than they could explain it themselves. We want to understand where they're coming from so we can address it. In the hook, pain point hooks seem to be the most effective. Paired with a direct offer ad, they seem to work the best. The next part of the body is going to be the context to the hook. So here, we want to go straight into the offer. And we also want to address like failed previous attempts and why they happened and why we are different. So you're going to say something along the lines of that hook. Like if you're a B2B agency running ads on Meta and your cost per call is going through the roof, here's how we can help. We'll script and edit 10 video ads for you within the next 5 to 10. Something along the lines of that. Like they're immediately knowing who they're talking. They immediately know who you're talking to and the offer, the thing that you do to help them. Okay. Which brings me to my next part is a clear offer. You could say something like, here's my offer to you, or here's how I can help. Make it clear. Nobody wants to, especially in B2B, nobody wants to like be fumbling around for trying to figure out what you do. We're not hiding anything. We want to be as direct as possible to help these people. And this is where we can also include our promises, our deliverable outcomes, our mechanism, our unique elements. These are all a part of that clear offer. The next part is going to be future pacing. Here is where we can explain to them the benefits of the outcome. So it would sound something like, that way you can, or so you can. It's not the outcome specifically, the benefit of that outcome. What does booking more appointments or fixing their problem happen? If we do fix that problem, what is the outcome of finding that solution? We call this benefit stacking. So you can keep stacking the benefits. You can list them. You can list 1 to 3, as many as you want. The next part is called a mechanism of solution. So I'm not going to write the whole thing, but here is the mechanism of solution. We're explaining how something works. Humans have to understand how and why. You can't just say, I will book you 10 to 20 sales calls per month, blah, 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 blah. We need to break it down for people on how we're going to do that. Do you do it in a special way? Do you have a special strategy? Is there a step-by-step process that we can quickly tell people? Humans rarely will ever just click on your ad because you tell them you're going to do something. You need to provide some sort of insight and context as to how we're going to achieve that outcome for people. People have to see it for themselves and understand how they can get the same outcome. Explain it in layman's terms. Be as plain and simple as you possibly can. You can also work in something what we call the mechanism of false solution. So what that means is most agencies will do X, Y, and Z. Here's why that's wrong. Here's what we do. So saying you've done this in the past, it doesn't work. Here's what we do and here's why it works. Next, the obvious one, case studies, testimonials, proof. People need to know proof of concept. People need to know proof. There's 4 types of proof. There's real results, there's case studies, there's implied authority, and there's testimonials. Now, if you don't have any of these, you can overcome this by being extremely good at explaining the situation that those people are in and explaining how you can get them out. If you are really good at explaining to people how you can get them a specific result and giving as much detail as possible, people will listen and they won't really care about the amount of case studies that you have. Just be really freaking good at explaining what you do and make content for it, just like I am right now. And then last but not least, we have our CTA. This is rarely ever changed and or tested. So kind of keep the same one all the time. If you want to switch it up every now and again, based on like what you're having them do. But for the most part, this is going to be the same. Okay, so now that we talked about all the important stuff, I promised you the one campaign setting that most agencies and B2B companies get wrong, and here it is. Most agencies and B2B companies set their campaign objective to traffic or reach and just hope for the best. Or they set it to conversions, but they optimize for page views instead of the actual lead itself. Here's what I do instead. Set your campaign objective to lead generation or conversions and optimize for your actual conversion event, either completed booking form or a thank you page view after booking. Either way, we want to optimize for the farthest event in the bottom of your funnel. This tells Meta's algorithm exactly what you want. I know it sounds obvious, but you'd be shocked how many B2B companies are running traffic campaigns and wondering why they're not getting leads. Now, here's the thing. Even with the right account structure, your ads are only one piece of the puzzle. If your landing page doesn't convert, if your VSL doesn't pre-sell, if your follow-up sequence doesn't close, you're still leaving money on the table. That's why at Build-to-Book, we don't just build ad campaigns, we build complete marketing systems, ads, VSLs, funnels, automations, follow-up sequences. Everything works together so it works properly. If you want to see exactly how this works for your specific business, head to buildtobook.io and book a free strategy call. We'll audit your entire funnel and current setup and show you exactly what needs to be changed to start filling your calendar with qualified leads. And also, if you found this video to be helpful, subscribe to the channel. Next week, I'll be showing you exactly how to build out my first campaign if I was starting from Meta Ads from scratch. And it was my first time running ads for agency companies. See you next week.